What's going on, everyone? Hope you're having a great day. Welcome to the Tundra TRD YouTube channel. If you've been here before, welcome back. If you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you know every time I put up a new video and/or a live stream. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, today is a very big day. I'm very excited. Right now, I would say within the next half hour or so, in my driveway will be a 2022 TRD Pro Tundra, the hybrid. It's finally here. I'm going to get to test it for a week. I like to make these little intro videos before we do the first impressions drive to kind of go over some of the things I'm going to be looking for through the week, and obviously go down in the comments below if there's any questions or comments you may have about this truck. We're going to start this video off the same way we did when we were able to test drive our first 2022, which was a limited TRD off-road, in the regular 3.5 liter twin turbo V6 engine. We're going to take the TRD Pro for a ride, my 2020 Army Green TRD Pro. I'm going to get a feel for the old gen, especially, which is great now. This is apples to apples. This is TRD Pro versus TRD Pro. So I'm going to take a quick spin on camera with my old Tundra, with my 2020, just to get a feel for it, get that 5.7 V8 sound, get the growl, twin turbo, or excuse me, not twin turbo, dual exhaust, get a feel for the suspension, the body roll of the old generation, and then immediately we're going to hop into that new 2022 TRD Pro Tundra, and we will compare. Not only will I be comparing TRD Pro to TRD Pro, old gen to new gen, but I'm also going to be comparing my time with that limited 2022 back in February, which was the regular iForce engine, to this, which will be the hybrid. I want to see, is this the game changer? That is one of the things I'm going to be looking for over the week. The most important video of the week for me is that first impressions drive. I don't go into the vehicle at all until the camera is on and I'm with you guys. You are seeing true first impressions. There is no quick ride around the block or anything. What you see is when I first drive the vehicle. And why this one is very important to me is because I really want a TRD Pro Tundra. If I'm going to give away my 2020, which I absolutely love, consider myself a TRD Pro enthusiast. I've owned a 2016 Mag Gray double cab and this Army Green one. If I'm going to give away this 2020 TRD Pro, which I absolutely love, it's got to be for something that's going to wow me. So this week is not only very important for you, the viewer, but me, the consumer, because if I'm going to spend near $70,000 on a vehicle, it's gotta blow my socks off, and that's really the only way I'm going to buy the truck. If I get in it this week and I don't like it as much, I may go back to the drawing board and look for a cheaper 2022 Tundra. But we've waited this long. I've passed up numerous offers on 2022 Tundras because I wanted to get the one that from the beginning I wanted, which is that hybrid, especially the TRD Pro, so we shall see. I also want to see, last but not least before we get out there and see these vehicles, I also want to see, is the price justified in what we have in today's 2022 Tundra? Let's not forget, my Army Green 2020 and the 2021, with no markups, MSRP, are right around $56,000. These new TRD Pros for 2022, they're going to be right around $67,000, $68,000 MSRP. So there's a $10,000 to $12,000 jump there. Is it justified? Is it worth it? Just from all of, the intel we got in the beginning and all the research we did on the TRD Pro for 2022, this truck, Mike Sweers and the team, they went all in on. This thing is all there. Everything we've ever asked for in a TRD Pro Tundra, this thing is loaded up. In the 15 to 17 TRD Pros, SR5 platform, pretty basic truck, body color, everything, TRD dual exhaust with that great suspension. You get the TRD skid plate, Toyota Heritage grille. It was awesome. It was a basic truck. So some people wanted a little bit more luxury features, kind of like the Ford Raptor. And then for 2019, we got, it was built off of more of a limited platform with the sunroof, with the, leather came in 2016. 2015 was actually fabric seats, but, leather, heated seats. They changed the grille. Toyota Safety Sense came in. So people were starting to get the stuff that they wanted, a little bit of luxury features, a little bit of off-road capability. But this 2022 is loaded with features and is ready to go off-road. Now it has multi-terrain select, crawl control. There are options in it, locking rear diff. This is the most capable TRD Pro we've seen, and once again, it has all of those features in it. So without further ado, let's go outside. Let's drive the 2020 TRD Pro just to get a baseline and see how we feel about that truck. We'll talk about some driving impressions on that one as well, just as I'm going down the road. We're not going to go long with the 2020. I just want to drive it, a few miles just to get a feel for it, and we will talk about how she rides. It is an amazing truck. And then, my friends, we will hop into the new 2022 TRD Pro Tundra. So as you're watching the video, if you have any comments, make sure you go down and let me know what you think about the truck. Always happy to field questions as well. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, notification bell, and you can see all of these videos I'm going to be putting up all week. We'll be doing some live streams. We're going to have a fun week with this TRD Pro, so stay tuned. Okay, first for a baseline, we got to take a ride in this. And then we take a ride in that. All right, here we go. 2020 TRD Pro, can't go wrong. Great truck, tried and true, and I absolutely love it. And that will be the most fun part of this, is this is actually the 2022 that I want, trim and everything. The color's not the color that I want. I want Lunar Rock, but who cares about the color right now? So we're gonna take this thing for a ride. Like I said, outside just to get a baseline, and then we will get in the 2022, which I will tell you, just staring at it as I drive away right now, it is quite a sight. It is very nice. First off, just want to say thank you to Toyota. I'm very blessed I get to drive these trucks and tell you folks how I feel about them. That's kind of a dream come true situation. So I get to drive this sweet 2020 every day, and now I get to go test drive a 2022 TRD Pro. That is awesome. But this thing I'm massively in love with. I love this truck so much that I'm in right now. 5.7 liter V8, can't go wrong. 381 horse, 401 torque. It feels great. I say this all the time. In 2020, so they got rid of the transmission cooler after the 2018 model year. And the engine went through a recalibration without that transmission cooler being there anymore. And ever since then, when I bought this 2020, I was coming out of a 2017 supercharged Platinum, and I was afraid I was going to get back into naturally aspirated and not like it, not be a fan of it. But I was dead wrong. I absolutely love it. The 6-speed made it to the 5.7. They work perfectly together. This truck has no lag whatsoever. It always feels like it's ready to go. Sometimes in my older 5.7s, I've owned 6 Tundras. I've driven a bunch of Tundras. Some of the older ones, it kind of felt like in certain situations the engine didn't want to get up and go, but this thing always feels ready. If you slow down on the road a little bit and have to get back up to speed, it drops the gear and you go. The driving experience is amazing. Now, this being the TRD Pro, it has the Fox suspension. Everything is nice and smooth. There is no body roll, and the cornering feels good and the handling feels great. The truck has a nice growl to it with the TRD dual exhaust. You really can't go wrong. You're getting that nice engine V8 sound up front, and then that dual exhaust in the back. If you're someone who likes louder dual exhausts or louder exhausts in general, this may not be the one for you, but it's a great baseline and probably the best exhaust offered by a manufacturer, like straight off of the boat. Of course, it's a performance part being TRD, but you know what? It's still offered from Toyota versus having to go aftermarket. So we have to go a different way today than what I normally do because they're doing construction up on the main road. But just look, getting up to speed easy. It sounds nice. It's a nice V8 growl. And when you put the car in park and you get out for something, every morning I have to swap my wife's car and this truck. So when I get out and it's just idling, it sounds amazing. The V8 is one thing that I'm madly in love with. The TRD dual exhaust, I'm insanely in love with. So again, just like with the Limited we did a few months ago, you got to sell me on it. In the beginning, the Limited was something I had to get used to. I wasn't ready for what I was about to drive. And I will tell you this up front, if you're in the market for a 2022 Tundra and you own a 5.7 V8 last generation Tundra, you need to test drive it. You need to test drive it. It is very different. It's not a little different. It's very different. Over the week I had with that Limited, I started to feel some similarities just being in a half-ton pickup, but the engine feels different, the transmission feels different. It's a 10-speed now, it's a V6 twin turbo, so obviously it's gonna feel a lot different than this. It's a ground-up remodel, it drives different, the body, everything. I said this when I had the Limited, everything works together to get you down the road versus this, which feels like an old school setup. This is more of your, it's a big V8 pickup truck. It kind of feels like it sways all over the road.
They've gotten a lot better with it in later years with this. Like I said, in the, the 19, 20, and 21 feel completely different to me. But you get used to this, and I'm so used to this platform and this feeling in this truck that when I get into these new generations, it's a little bit hard to get used to. But now we're going from, with that limited, a 3.5 liter twin turbo V6, that Pro sitting in my driveway right now is hybrid. So we're talking big horsepower. It's something, I'm gonna get these numbers wrong, it's like 437 horse, 580 torque. That is a gigantic improvement. I am so excited to see what it's all about. A lot of traffic out here, everybody trying to go to the beach because it's gonna be a nice weekend. Let me see if I can get caught up here. Can't go wrong, can't go wrong. It just sounds good. The truck knows what to do, when to do it. Again, the V8 with the TRD dual exhaust, you really can't go wrong. It's just a very, very comfortable truck. I also love the fact, we talked about this earlier in the video down in the office, but I love the fact that with this generation TRD Pro, especially in 20 and 21, I love that they gave you some luxury features, but it still kept the essence of what the TRD Pro is supposed to be. It's an off-road truck. It's not built up insane. It's got, mid-travel suspension, nothing too crazy, but it's got a nice setup under it. I love the less is more look of the Pro. Body color, heritage grille, TRD Pro stamped in on the side, and that's it. There's not a lot going on. And sometimes, and I gotta make a shirt that says this, less is more. It's a truck. It's a pickup truck. This thing has the suspension, it has the look, but it could still do the truck stuff. It could still tow 10,000 pounds. It could still haul. It could still, if you're going to Lowe's and you got to get a bunch of crap, the reason you buy a pickup truck to begin with, it could still do that. If you got to carry a family on a trip, it could still do that. So it can do the truck stuff, but it gives you a little bit of the off-road feel, with the suspension. You get the great sound with the TRD dual exhaust. You get the skid plate up front. Toyota heritage grille, can't go wrong. It has Toyota safety sense, so it's modernized. I mean, this truck is pretty close to perfect, which is really going to be fun getting behind the wheel of this 2022, because I'm gonna be a critic on the truck. If I don't like it, I'm gonna tell you I don't like it. Also mentioned this in the office too. This is one of those things where not only am I doing a video for you guys, I'm doing it for me, because I want to buy a TRD Pro Tundra, but with spending $70,000, I want to make sure that it's worth it to spend $70K, because I'm just fine and happy in this truck. But I want to go new generation. I want to do it for sure, but I don't want to settle. And I'm big on that, because this truck I absolutely love. This isn't something I'm dying to get out of. So you're going to have to show me the money. You're going to have to show me this thing is a game changer. I want to see game changer in this 2022 TRD Pro for sure. So we're heading back toward my house now, and then we're going to pick up the new one. I'm anxious to drive it. You can't really go wrong with this. I mean, this truck is no slouch, man. You hear that? The way it shifts? 6-speed transmission. The fuel mileage isn't that great, but I don't care about fuel mileage. I just want the truck to get down the road nice. A lot of you out there do care about fuel mileage. So this is where Toyota definitely scored when we get in this next truck. You're getting a higher horsepower truck with more torque, more capability, but the fuel mileage has gone up. And it's gone up significantly. I know people were asking for a lot more in the new generation, but if you really think about it and you sit there and drive the truck over time, you're gonna see improvements all the way around. So in that case, you got a high five Toyota on this one, because they gave you more towing, they gave you more payload, they gave you better fuel mileage and more horsepower. They helped their numbers in every single way. The one thing that people aren't a huge fan of is that they didn't go V8. But I think over the next few years, you're going to start to see a lot of other manufacturers have to pull away from the V8s because of emissions laws and everything like that. I think you're going to see this twin turbo V6 kind of deal, electric, hybrid. It's the way of the future. Toyota was just a little bit ahead of the game with it. So we are going to shut the camera off right now. I'm going to get this thing back home, and then without further ado, we're going to get in this 2022 Tundra and see what it's all about. First impression drive coming up. Stay tuned.
Howdy, I'm Mike Swears, Chief Engineer of Tundra, and you're watching Tundra Dude 34 YouTube channel.
All right, here we go. Look at this thing. We're gonna do a real walk around video, but just, you know, let's just do a 2-seconder. TRD Pro. Black. It looks taller and smaller just from the initial look with the green in the background. But will you take a look at this thing? Got the marker lights, got the light bar. It says Tundra in camo. Looks very good. It's got that red interior. Let's see what she's all about. Whew, that is red. Look at that. Pano. The coolest part of this truck is right there. Toyota splashed over the dash there, or on the dash over the glove box. But that is very, very red. But it looks good with the black. Red camo. Fully loaded, of course. All right, let's take it for a drive. This has the digital gauge cluster. Woo. Let's see what she got. I'm very excited to get behind the wheel of this thing. Here we are. We are in. Let's start this thing. Big red TRD button. There's the sound. Digital gauge cluster looks awesome. Gonna fix the steering wheel. That is a manual shifting of the steering wheel right there, just so you know. Looks like the okay, ventilated seats are on, good, because it's hot out and I sweat when I eat, so this is a good thing. All right, the setup. We have the giant screen, as you can see there. Toyota Heritage grille look on the dash, which looks awesome. Digital gauge cluster looks amazing. We'll go over all that. Today, we're just driving this thing, man. We're gonna see if this thing is worth it. Seating is, we talked about this with the Limited and everything, just kind of getting set up. I love the bolstering on these seats. I like the red. I want to see if the red grows on me. I think the red looks really good with the black exterior. Mirrors are gigantic, blind spot monitoring, parking sensors. This is not the Pro of old. This thing is loaded up. I love the way the hood looks. I don't know if this camera can see it, but the hood looks amazing. It has those like fins on the side, and it says TRD Pro. Hybrid once again. Let's see what we got here. Let's take this thing for a spin. Enough talking. Let's go. We are in reverse. We're going to be in normal drive mode. Let's just get that going first. Get an idea what this is all about. We'll spin this thing around the block and try to get up to the main road as soon as humanly possible so we can get some speed under her and see how she feels. Once again, this is the TRD Pro the TRD Pro suspension, just like our 2020. Initial sound, hold on. Ooh, this thing sounds good. It sounds like the Limited did, like we were talking about in the JBL system. The sound is fed in for the exhaust system, but this sounds a little deeper, a little rough, which is the way that it needs to be. This is fun. I'm smiling because I like it. Wow, TRD steering wheel I'm checking out right now. You know, overall, it's definitely a different interior. I will tell you a really good initial first impression. This thing feels fast. It feels like it wants to get up and go. Even doing the local street stuff, it is an impressive feeling before we even get out on the main road. Of course, for anyone that wants to be a YouTuber in the future, do yourself a favor when you do driving videos. Don't do it during afternoon rush hour, because just trying to get out onto this main road is absolutely insane right now. But it looks like we're going to be able to here, so let's pay attention. Let's see how she feels. Let's get out here with this beautiful black TRD Pro, and we're out. Oh, yeah. I'm going to buy one of these. This is so different feeling already. Just, I haven't driven a mile on this truck yet. This feels so different than that Limited TRD Off-Road 2022. This engine this is closer to the feeling of the supercharged 2017 that I had. This thing is ready to go at all times. I mean, even just, you know, slow driving, it just feels like it has that feeling of go. That's all it is. It doesn't feel like you got to get on the pedal to make it go. That was one of my complaints in the 3.5 twin turbo V6, is I feel like you had to kind of get on the pedal and the truck would eventually start to go. This thing's just ready to rip and roar. This is fun. This is going to be a fun driving experience. As far as the TRD suspension and the new frame and everything they have going on in this truck, it is a very good feeling truck in the way of getting down the road. Very comfortable, not a lot of sound coming out or coming in from the outside. You hear a little tire noise, nothing too crazy. Don't forget, Falcon Wild Peaks are on this thing now, but it's very comfortable. This is what this Fox suspension does for the TRD Pro. I know a lot of people out there like to upgrade their suspension. A lot of people don't really like what comes on the TRD Pro. They say they could do better. But I'll tell you what, in driving the Bilstein TRD Pro suspension, the Fox one on my 2020, and now this one, it really does a great job. Maybe if you're going to Moab, you get something a little bit crazier, but we're not going to Moab. We're driving down Route 37 in Toms River, New Jersey right now. And to be honest, a lot of people that buy this truck, they're gonna spend their time on the road. And one thing you can keep in mind, if you're someone who's gonna buy a TRD Pro, even though you're not going to go off-road, the suspension does a lot. If you live in an area with terrible roads, this truck can get over those bumps nicely. The truck feels like it doesn't lose any control. You don't go wobbling all over the road. I know in driving to, you know, long distances, going to we have a house in the Poconos, going from New Jersey to Pocono, the highways are atrocious, but this truck really does well at high speed. It does high-speed desert running is what this truck is all about, and this truck knows knows how to get down the road real nice. And man, it just rides those bumps. The suspension, the articulation is taking care of business while you're just enjoying your ride going down the road. But the steering in this thing is fantastic. The bolstering in the seats is amazing. The interior feels a little bit smaller than yesteryear, but still plenty of space. I can reach over into my passenger seat. As far as infotainment and everything like that, you can reach the screen. The screen is gigantic. Last time we did our initial test drive in the 2022, when it was the Limited, I said that screen was something that may be distracting. We know from those videos that at night, the screen is very dim. It isn't distracting. You get used to it. Right now I have the navigation on, just showing me where I am, like GPS, but you could switch it up and do whatever you want and do the audio. This is JBL sound system. It's loaded up. You get the your climate control down here. It's automatic dual climate control, so your passenger can have a different temperature than you. I really like the digital gauge cluster, but the first drive of this thing is exactly what I expected it to be. It's awesome. And I'm happy that I'm going to be able to do it. Haven't done the cell phone charger yet, but the wireless charger in the other truck, hopefully it's different in this, I don't think it will be, the phone would bounce around and lose its ability to stay charging very quickly. I mean, even the easiest and lightest of bumps. So that'll be something down the road. But as far as the actual driving impressions, the truck is very tight. It's tight, the braking's good. Everything just feels like it's in sync with each other. The fed-in sound is pretty amazing. We still have the window that goes all the way down in the back, so you can get that good airflow with the pano roof here, but just a very comfortable truck. I look at braking and body sway and the way the engine gets, or the way the transmission gets up through the gears to get down the road, how all of that feels, and all of that feels great. The sight lines are fantastic. There's not really a blind spot. You always get that blind spot in the back right over here, but other than that, there's not really much. Like I said, this thing's bird's eye view. You get the parking sensor, blind spot monitoring. It has everything you need to get you down the road safely. Don't forget, this has the new addition of Toyota Safety Sense in it. We got the new gear shifter, which is more like an F-14 Tomcat, which is the best fighter jet of all time. I don't care what anybody says. The new dash layout with this has the red. You can get it in all black. It's just a fun driving experience. I think the way to go, just in this very short amount of time of driving this truck, the way to go is the hybrid. The other engine isn't bad. You get used to it after a while, but this thing is obnoxiously fun to drive. And I honestly can't wait to just take this thing on like a 2-hour ride like I did the last one. No camera, just get a feel for the old girl and just get it down the road and see how it is. But is it gonna be worth the 70 grand I'm gonna need to spend to get it? That remains to be seen. This is a fun ride. No turbo lag yet or anything like that. It just sounds so good. I never thought the TRD dual exhaust could be replaced, and I don't think it ever will be, because the TRD dual exhaust, there's nothing fed in. That's how it sounds. It's amazing. But this has a really nice rumble to it. Whoever engineered this sound They knew what they were doing. And I'll be honest with you, the black exterior with the red interior is growing on me because that goes together amazing. I don't know, well, if I got the Lunar Rock exterior, it would need to have the black interior. I think the Lunar Rock and the red wouldn't go together great. The white and the red would go good, but the black with the red, you know, you got the black TRD forged wheels and everything like that, would go together really nicely. But so far, I'm a big fan in this truck. Okay, I turned the camera around here just before we end this ride. We're going into a series of tight turns. I like to bring the truck over here just to see how the body sway is. Now, in my older Tundras, there was a ton of body sway. When we put the TRD rear sway bar on, it definitely helped it, but overall there was a lot of body sway. In the 2020 that I have, the body sway is very limited, and in that 2022 Limited we test drove a month or so ago, there really wasn't much body sway at all. The cornering of this truck is very good. Even the steering wheel, the minute you put input into the steering wheel, it reacts. In the older generation Tundra, because it's that old school V8, you would have to put a good amount of, you know, steering into it to get the truck to react. But let's see how this one feels around the turns with the TRD suspension and everything, and just the overall cornering. I expect it to be very good. The truck is insanely responsive in all way, shape, and form. So let's see, we're gonna go into this and see what we feel, if we're getting pulled all over. But with the bolstering in the seats, I doubt we will. No, there's no pull whatsoever. You would think I'd be sliding to the left right now, just controlled. But the bolstering certainly does help. But this thing, I'm gonna go in a little bit faster on this one. Nope, it just holds. The truck stays planted really nice. High five to Toyota on what they've done with this platform, because this is something special here. All right, in closing on this first impressions drive, I gotta be 1,000,000% honest with you guys. I absolutely love it. I gotta be honest, this thing's pretty awesome. Some of the things that I felt like were missing in that Limited 3.5 twin turbo V6, this hybrid engine took care of. Love the sound that is fed into the truck. I want a natural exhaust sound just like anybody else, but if this is the way it's got to be, that sound is very good. Just the driving experience overall is very nice. It feels good. It feels like a TRD Pro. I like the body lines. I like some of the things they've done as far as, you know, the interior and the exterior. There's obviously pros and cons. Some people don't like the front end. I like the front end, and I think it looks great on the TRD Pro setup, the TRD Pro trim with the Toyota Heritage grille, the 3 marker lights in the upper grille because it's wide. It doesn't feel like it's wide, I will tell you that right now. It feels just like a regular Tundra. But this is where I think people will want to spend their money. I strongly suggest everyone go out and test drive before you buy. I said that in the beginning of the video. I'm saying that now. I'm going to say it 63 more times before the week is over with this truck. I may not give this truck back. Sorry, Toyota. This might be mine now. But this is a nice setup. The TRD Pro pretty much comes one way. You just, Crew Max hybrid, you don't have an option there. As far as interior options, it is what it is. You get an option on the exterior color, and you get an option if you want the red, the white, the black, or the lunar. If you get the, or excuse me, I said that all wrong. The interior is either the red or the black, but the red interior does not come with solar octane. It's an option on all the other ones. Keep that in mind. Solar octane with this red interior would not work. Toyota did a good job with not offering with that. But overall, just a great driving experience. It feels similar to that Limited that we test drove, but there are some differences. The suspension here, the Limited with the TRD off-road was a little more bouncy, and this one rides over the bumps really nice, just like any other TRD Pro versus another trim that we've driven, regardless of generation. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Blast it, right? You hear the turbos? See, that's cool. If you're gonna have turbos in this thing, if you're gonna have turbos in your Tundra, let's hear them. That's the point, right? I can't wait till they start coming out with TRD cold air intakes and all that stuff. Will there be a TRD exhaust for this truck that's a little bit different than what's offered on here now? Who knows? Who knows? We shall see. I'm sure TRD will capitalize on that. But until next time, I want to hear what you guys think about this. What do you think? Is this something that you want just from the stuff you've heard, some of my impressions? What are you thinking? I really hope you're able to hear that. Got the big pano roof now, which is insane. I tried to give you 2 different angles just to show you, you know, a couple different things about the truck, but I really just can't wait to hear what everyone has to say. And I'm rambling. And you know why I'm rambling? Because I'm excited to be driving this right now. This truck is gonna be a lot of fun for the week. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know what you want to see through the week. We're gonna do in the next video a full walk around. We're gonna show you all the features, the details. We'll focus a little bit on this digital gauge cluster, all of that kind of stuff. So I thank you guys for coming along. So far, so good. Until next time, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, at TundraDude34, TundraDude34gmail.com. Guys, have a great day. Be safe and be well.